First cousin, Nikia Aldridge, a young mother, was killed in crossfire on the streets of Chicago. It has been the deadliest month in Chicago in 2 decades. And Wade, who is returning to the Bulls for the fall, spoke about how that community can come together and his family's personal tragedy. Let me just start out by expressing our condolences for your loss. I think it's so hard for people to believe your cousin, Nikia Aldridge, walking down the street, pushing her baby in a stroller, signing up for kids for school, and she gets shot. It must have been shocking.
Yeah, man, just hearing it again, it's tough. It was, I think, for our family, it was very tough, so just the headlines alone, mother walking down the street, registering my kids in school, a mother of 4, gets murdered. It's tough to deal with.
Yeah, she was doing all the right things.
And it's kind of one of those moments, for our family that it's like, this is not real. My cousin Nikia, I always say she was like the quiet one. She would just be there. She would be about her kids. She would be about her family, but you never would know she's in the room. And it was shocking. It was shocking to hear not only that she was murdered, but it was shocking to hear the way and how her mother, my auntie, my mother, the family is tore up.
Your family's so devastated by all this, and on that weekend alone, in the city of Chicago, 10 more people killed, 57 shot.
Yeah.
I mean, the town you're going back to is having a hard time.
We're coming off doing the town hall meeting.
Well, it's right there from right with ESPN just the night before.
The night before. It's important for all of us to help each other, to go back and say, you know what, where did this start and how did this start? Let's see how we can change there. We're using our voice. We're using our platform to try to shed some light on the city of Chicago. And then hours later, one of my family members is killed. For me, it was tough. I want my family to grieve in private as much as possible, right? But as well, because of my name is attached to it, it becomes this national story. A lot of things I seen wasn't even her name.
It's Dwane Wade's cousin.
Yeah, and that hurt me. That hurt me, to be the name that they talked about, instead of talking about a mother of 4. That kind of hurt me and put me in a dark place for a few hours.
The question is, how do you turn that darkness into light? How do you use this platform?
Yeah, because of my name being associated with it, the light that shined on to the city, and now it's become a national conversation.
It's such a complicated problem in Chicago. You got gangs, you got guns, you have this distrust between the community and the police. How do you deal with that?
My cousin was killed by one of the brothers that just got out of prison not too long ago. So, guys go to prison and then we let them back out on the street.
Months later.
They're going to go back to what they're used to and what they know. So if there's something we can do with the prison that can help with work programs. When people come out, it gives them an opportunity to try to better themselves.
This is coming back home for you. This is the city where you grew up. You knew this violence, this tension firsthand.
I grew up in one of the, probably one of the toughest eras when it comes to murders in the early 90s in Chicago. I grew up in that era of the same things that our kids going through now, of being afraid to go outside.
How did you handle it?
I was a kid who wanted to play basketball, who got lucky and was able to have mentors in my life to help me. And I think that's one thing that a lot of our kids today is missing, is mentorship. If we want to stop this epidemic, it's needed now.
What do you say to your boys?
You try to teach your kids right from wrong. You try to put them in situations. Hey, if this happens in school, what do? Okay? No, you don't do that, you do this. Hey, go to this person. If you see, so you try to tell them right from wrong, but then they come back to you and they say, well, Dad, kids are being killed by police officers. I thought you said police officer was was safe.
Are your boys afraid of the police?
They are. My boys are afraid of police just the same way I was when I was growing up. And, not all police, obviously, but, my boys hear everything that's going on in the world, and all the harassment, all the murders that's going on, and they pose a question back to me. And what answer do I have for them? So they know how involved I am in the community, so then I take that and I have answers for the city. I go to the mayor, I go to the city and say, what are we doing to strengthen gun laws? What are we doing to help our police? Because
then you hear the police, they say, the police in the city of Chicago, they say, we're fighting a war out
And they are. They are fighting the war. And they can do a lot better. But they can get more help as well to do better. There's other cities that have way tougher gun laws. We have weak gun laws. And, you know, we have to do a better job of being leaders. All of us. The leadership in our world today, in our communities, is suffering. Big time.
This came right in the middle of a presidential campaign, as you know. And Donald Trump, I know he expressed his condolences to your family. Also got a lot of reaction for this tweet he sent out, where he said Dwane Wade's cousin shot and killed walking in Chicago. Just what I've been saying, African Americans will vote Trump. What did you think when you heard that?
Well, I was kind of conflicted. You know, it's like, on one end, your cousin's death is used as a ploy for political gain. On the other end, it's a national story. It goes back to that for me. I want eyes on this city. You know, I want us to be able to do more together. The only way we do more together is more people know what's going on. So I was grateful that it started a conversation. But on the other end, it's just a bad taste in my mouth because of, you know, of what my family is dealing with and what our city of Chicago is dealing with, and it looks like it's been used as a political game.
Nike's mother says she's forgiven the killers. Can you?
She's strong. Auntie Diane is a very strong woman. Her faith in God is, I mean, she's right there with my mother, you know, always. You know, their belief is so strong. If she can forgive, you know, then I think anyone should forgive. But I don't think we should forget. I really think now that, you know, my purpose for being back in the city is bigger than basketball, which basketball is a big part of it, of course. This is what I do for a living. But I think my purpose at the end of the day is hopefully, you know, to come to Chicago and be a part and be the voice that can help bring people together.
Good luck with that. Thank you.
I appreciate it.
You know, Wade got that phrase, bigger than basketball, from his mom. She said, you are bigger than basketball. She's a real leader in that community of pastor, and tomorrow she's got a tough job. She's going to have to give the eulogy for her niece.
I will even see what a phenomenal job she did with her son, because what a voice he does have. Incredible interview.
Very powerful.
Coming up next here in our big board.